Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Mars transiting the first house in a natal chart. Now, on average, Mars will traverse a house for approximately 2 months. However, if Mars is retrograde at any point in the transit and or your house size is larger, then Mars will be in the house for a longer period. Well, anyway, people, first thing is when I look at this transit, okay, Mars transiting the first house, it's making the transition from the 12th house, which is a house associated with seclusion and solitude, and now it's in the first house. This is a time where, okay, in the 12th house, you may have formulated perhaps some plans to start some new beginnings and perhaps ending certain things that weren't working for you in your life. And this could be a period where you can be very strongly connected with initiative and enterprise. It could be starting some kind of new job or profession. It could be maybe taking up some kind of new hobby or new sport. I think if Mars is in Aries or Sagittarius, that could increase the chances of perhaps initiating something connected with athletics or sports. The thing too is during this period where Mars transits your first house, you're likely to be a little bit more combative, maybe a little bit more aggressive, more assertive. This is a period where you're more likely to stand up for what you believe in. If your chart indicates that you're a rather reserved person or very passive and non-combative or non-confrontational, you might surprise some people during this period because you might take some people aback actually and come across. I mean, the first house governs the first impression, and some new people you meet might actually see you as being rather abrupt and aggressive and very forthright. So this could also be a period where you show a lot more, maybe audacity. You might be more audacious during this period than usual. Just avoid taking and maybe some kind of risk that is just unnecessary, and because it could be a period where you're a little bit more impetuous and impulsive than usual. Yeah, just because you feel more self-assured and more confident doesn't mean you have to do a high wire or climb some tall object or something. It just, to me, just everything is like when you look at this transit, is that you could really have a real surge of energy. You might feel a little like you have more vitality during this period. You might be more energetic than usual. And even if your chart suggests, say, you have like a Pisces ascendant, and you're generally, maybe you feel like you're not the most energetic person in the world, but this could actually give you that boost that you hadn't had in some time. So the thing too is during this period, it's okay to speak your mind, and if you want to, if you procrastinated, say on standing up for yourself over a situation, or you've been taking a certain amount from somebody that's going and it's going on for a certain amount of time, this could be that period where you just decide to assert yourself and speak your mind, and really might surprise some people in the process. This could be, you look at the first house, and the first house is associated with the physical body, and Mars can be associated with sports. And the thing about it is, it might be more of a period where you might be more interested in doing something sports related, or it could be a period where you might decide to take like on a workout, maybe regime, or start working out or exercising vigorously to build your body, to make yourself look better to others, because this is a time now, the first house can be a little about being egocentric, and your own interests and your needs are obviously, they may very well take strong precedence over others during this time. And it's important to, at this point in time, to not I mean, it's okay to emphasize your own interests if you need to take care of a lot of things that are personal and that are connected with yourself, but not at the same time to not become oblivious to others' needs as well. And during this period, you might be a little bit more acerbic than usual, and it might be a period also where maybe you might have more contentious situations with others and more quarrels and arguments, and a lot of it could be attributed to being a little bit more abrupt and blunt during this period than you ordinarily are. Well, anyway, people, another thing to look at, okay, is look at the sign that Mars is in, whether it's the entire or most of the transit to the house, because this could flavor the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that Mars is in Aries for either the majority or the whole time of the transit to the first house. Well, this could indicate that this might reinforce that need, that maybe that combative energy a little bit and more aggressive during this time. And that being said, it could, because it's in the first house, it may indicate that maybe people see this toward you on maybe new people that encounter you on a first impression. Now, let's say that Mars is in Taurus for either the majority or the whole time of the transit to the first house. This could be energy perhaps directed toward things that are sustained and that are enduring during this period. And because it's in the first house, it could be something perhaps connected with the physical body, such as working out vigorously, and also because being in Taurus, doing this in a very methodical and deliberate fashion. Now, it's also important to look at the aspects that are made to your natal planets and points by the Mars transit in your first house, as this could impact the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that transiting Mars is making a square inconjunct or opposition to your natal Mars. Well, this could perhaps indicate difficulty in releasing or unleashing anger during this time, or directing it in perhaps a positive manner. It might be channeled negatively and not in a constructive way, and it could cause contentious situations with others. And being in the first house, this could really be something where people that haven't met you before, this could be something that they might really notice right away and see on that, as I've stated before, on that first impression. So, also, another example, let's say that transiting Mars is making a sextile or trine to your natal Jupiter. I should say transiting Mars in your natal first house, making a sextile or trine to your natal Jupiter. Well, this could be a fortuitous period for perhaps embarking on a new project or venture, and being given the fact that Mars is transiting the first house, it could be perhaps improving something connected with improving the physical body and the outlook on life. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Mars transiting the first house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about Mars transiting the second house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.